Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. So, today we're diving into something wild, a biological process that's probably happening inside you right now, completely under the radar. We're talking about decoding chronic inflammation. It's this silent thread in the body just whispering these tiny, subtle clues long before it ever sets off a real medical alarm. Look, if you're serious about long-term health and optimization, getting a handle on this invisible process, it's absolutely non-negotiable. Because here's the thing, by the time a chronic disease is actually diagnosed, the groundwork has usually been quietly laid over years, maybe even decades, of low-grade systemic inflammation. So let's unpack the science behind this medical mystery, right? Let's decode exactly what our bodies are secretly trying to tell us before it's too late. So check out this quote. Most chronic disease starts silent. I mean, let that sink in for a second. We usually think of getting sick as this loud, disruptive thing, right? Like a sudden hacking cough or a crazy spiking fever. But the foundation of chronic, low-grade inflammation, it is incredibly quiet, stealthy even. And honestly, that's exactly where the real danger lies. Since there are no immediate debilitating symptoms, the cellular damage just kind of builds up in the background. It's compounding day after day completely unchecked. It's literally like a smoldering fire hiding inside your blood vessels. But here's the good news. While it might be quiet, it's never entirely invisible. The disease process always leaves these little breadcrumbs for us to follow. Subtle warning signs hinting at what's going on inside, way before a major health event hits. Okay, so you're probably wondering, if this threat is so silent, how do we actually detect it? Well, human physiology is amazingly communicative. Our bodies actually give us a physical dashboard, a set of tangible clues that give us a sneak peek into our internal chemistry. We just have to know what to look for. And no, these aren't those dramatic symptoms that send you rushing to the ER. They're those chronic, nagging little issues that, unfortunately, a lot of us just write off as, oh, I'm just getting older or normal wear and tear. But dismissing them, huge mistake. Recognizing these specific physiological whispers is absolutely crucial for catching it early. So, what exactly is the body doing to get our attention? Let's decode the main markers of this invisible threat, starting with the very first physical clue. Now, here's another profound but super frequently overlooked warning sign: gum disease. It's a huge misconception to separate oral health from the rest of the body. Actually, scratch that. It's a dangerous misconception. The mouth is one of the most vascular areas of human anatomy. It's practically a direct highway into your bloodstream. Your gums are packed with these tiny blood vessels. So when those tissues get chronically inflamed or start bleeding, it basically creates an open door for oral bacteria to just march right into your circulatory system. Which means inflammation in the mouth definitely doesn't stay in the mouth. It circulates everywhere, irritating vital organs and blood vessels. Because of this, persistent gum issues are for sure one of the clearest early indicators of widespread chronic low-grade inflammation. Then we've got the undeniable red flag of recurring infections. Look, if you're constantly battling sickness, catching literally every single bug going around, or dealing with minor cuts that just refuse to heal, you're watching your immune system in crisis. A healthy immune response is supposed to be acute, right? It spots a threat, knocks it out, and resets. Boom. Done. But chronic, low-grade inflammation keeps your immune system trapped in this exhausting, never-ending state of low-level defense. It's constantly deployed just to fight that internal smoldering fire we talked about. And because your biological defenses are perpetually distracted and overworked by this baseline inflammation, they just don't have the gas left in the tank to fight off everyday pathogens. Frequent sickness is basically the price you pay for an overburdened immune system. Okay. Beyond what you can physically feel, there is a crucial clinical metric we need to talk about: elevated CRP, or C-reactive protein levels. Now, unlike stiff joints or bleeding gums, this is totally invisible. You can't feel it at all, but it's the absolute gold standard for measuring systemic inflammation. CRP is this specific protein pumped out by your liver in direct response to inflammation. Think of it this way: if chronic inflammation is the internal fire, CRP is the smoke. When your doctor runs a standard blood panel and spots elevated levels of high-sensitivity CRP, well, that's the biological, quantifiable proof of that inflammatory burden. It literally takes this silent, subjective threat and puts it right there on paper in black and white, so you can track the actual severity of the internal damage. So when we pull all this data together, a really clear, unified picture emerges. We are tracking a singular underlying condition, systemic inflammation. And honestly, it is fascinating how all these seemingly random things, the locked joints when you make up, the bleeding gums, the exhausted immune system, and those specific liver proteins, they all point back to the exact same root issue. They aren't isolated problems at all. They're interconnected pieces of a much bigger biological puzzle. Brought together, these markers form your body's incredibly sophisticated early warning system. Once these disparate clues align, the silent threat has officially made its presence known, and well, that's when intervention becomes absolutely necessary. And understanding these symptoms brings us to a massive philosophical shift in how we handle our health. See, modern medicine often falls into this trap of aggressively treating the signal, the pain, the stiffness, the inflammation itself, while totally ignoring the driver. Inflammation is just the alarm bell ringing. It's just a physiological symptom of a deeper disruption, not the root cause. If you just numb the signal with medication without asking, hey, why is the alarm ringing in the first place? Well, that underlying cellular damage just keeps on going. The actual driver, the thing keeping a heavy foot on the gas pedal of this silent threat, is found entirely in your daily lifestyle choices. Bottom line, you can't permanently silence the alarm until you remove the fuel that's feeding the fire. So what is that physiological fuel? It essentially comes down to three fundamental biological inputs: diet, sleep, and stress. Step 1. Consider the metabolic impact of what you eat. Downing hyper-processed foods in refined sugars actively triggers an aggressive immune response in the gut, literally flooding your body with inflammatory cytokines. Step 2 is how you sleep. Deep sleep is when your cells repair and clear out waste. Chronic sleep deprivation completely halts these vital restorative processes, trapping all those inflammatory markers inside your system. And finally, step 3, how you manage stress. Chronic, unchecked stress gives you this continuous toxic drip of cortisol. Over time, your body gets totally desensitized to it, leaving the inflammatory pathways wide open. These are the daily inputs dictating your biology. Modulating these three things, that is how you turn off the signal at its source. Ultimately, understanding this whole biological cascade leaves us with a pretty profound challenge. I want you to ask yourself honestly, are your daily drivers triggering the silent signal? Take a hard, objective look at the metabolic fuel you're consuming, the restorative quality of your sleep, and that baseline stress you carry around all day. Are those daily choices inadvertently fueling an internal low-grade fire? Recognizing this direct link between your everyday habits and your cellular health is the absolute vital first step to taking your power back. Don't wait for the silent threat to become a loud, chaotic emergency. Thank you so much for exploring the science of chronic inflammation with me on this explainer. I highly challenge you to audit those drivers today, and I absolutely can't wait to dive into our next topic with you soon.